Today is one of the most exciting days I've had in a long time, and in typical Irish fashion, it is lashing rain. However, you can't wipe the smile off my face because I'm standing next to the new fully electric Renault 5, and it's one of the most enjoyable and charismatic cars to grace the Irish roads in recent years. And today we're going to be driving it, but we're also going to be driving this, which is the Renault 5 Gordini Turbo. And I am very excited to take a bit of a deep dive into this and also go for a spin in this. Before we go for a drive, I want to explain why I've been so excited for the new electric Renault 5. And the reason is because it's pretty pokey. It's about 150 brake horsepower. Going to the front wheels, you can turn the traction control off, but also it's quite light for an EV at only about 1.4 or 1.5 tonne. And on top of that, it looks absolutely incredible. Oh, and one more thing, it's also not crazy expensive. Prices start at about 26,000 euros, and this one, fully spec'd, is 33.5. In terms of styling, at the front here, you'll notice that the daytime running lights, they're square, kind of paying homage to the past. Also, this 5 badge lights up, and depending on how much charge it has, varies how much of the 5 lights up. Then this one is the iconic 5, so it's the high spec with the 18-inch diamond cut alloy wheels. They've got a 5 imprinted on them. Also, traditionally, Renault 5, always a 3-door, so they've hidden the door handles on the rear. And I also think this pays homage to the past too. Now, in terms of specs, there are 3, so there's Evolution, there is Techno and Iconic 5. My best advice is go to your local dealer, which you can find out where that is, and they can advise you on the specifics. But things like the Iconic 5, they have heated seats, there's adaptive cruise control, and a few other nice additions as well. In terms of the interior, all the little quirks like the roof and the seats aside, it is a very familiar place for anyone who's been in a Renault of recent years. So the steering wheel, the 4 stalks that you have, the infotainment system, it's all very familiar and easy to use. I do love that it's a Google system here, so particularly with charging, you can just find chargers on that and it uses Google Maps, which is excellent. There's some chargers down here, and as a whole, it's just a nice place to spend a bit of time. It's a bit tight in the rear, but overall, it's pretty good. Now, in terms of batteries and range, there's a few different options. My advice is actually go for the bigger battery. You're going to get over 400 kilometers range, and it's about 30,000 euros, so you are paying a little bit more for it, but I think in the long run, feature value will also prevail. Now on this, well, range, it's probably quite similar from the 1.4 litre turbo engine. So the Gordini's quite a specific car. In France, left-hand drive, it was called the Alpine, and then in the UK, they made the Gordini. Now, in terms of numbers that are still out there, I actually don't know how many were ever made, but my understanding is there's about 15 left in the UK, and only about 5 or 6 of those are actually registered and used. In Ireland, who knows? I suspect it could just be this one and no others. So, to drive the Gordini, well, that 1.4 litre turbo engine, it is nice. It's a little bit more rackety than the new one, which we'll discover in a minute when we go for a drive, because I've just stalled. There we go, okay. The learning curve. Anyway, what I was going to say is the significance of this car is that the Renault 5, I suppose, was one of the founders of the hatchback style car, which we now all know and love so much. Additionally, one thing I love about this is the regular Renault 5, I think, had the spare wheel under the bonnet, but in this car, it had to go in the boot because the engine was a bit bigger. But once you spend a bit of time in it, it does become very easy to drive, and it also gives you this sense that it's going to be very difficult, new Renault 5, to incorporate that kind of, clutch, engine, the smell. It's this whole experience that new cars don't capture that well. However, I do think the new Renault 5 has incorporated some of them. So being in here in the new Renault 5, it's a very different experience. The most noticeable which is it's much bigger, and obviously that's the car, but also the cabin. It's a little bit more spacious. I also love that the fabric in the Gordini, it kind of looks like sofa fabric, and it's very similar in here, and even things like the roof. It's all recycled material in 2025, but it just has that similar vibe to it. The car itself to drive, it's real nippy. It's about 150 horsepower, but because it's electric, it's very torquey. It feels very hot hatchy, which I love. You get a little bit of regenerative braking. In fact, I think if you could turn it off altogether, it would make it more of a kind of hot hatch feel. And when you plant your foot on a day like today and it's wet, you actually get a little bit of wheel spin, which is quite crazy. Now, being a modern car, you get all of those, what people call creature comforts, like adaptive cruise control if you get the iconic 5, lane keep assist. It's just a very comfortable place on a long road. It gets quite inefficient on the motorway, close to about 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. But around town, that's where this is just brilliant. It's small by today's standards. It fits in every car parking spot. The turning circle is superb and it's just really nippy. Another thing I've noticed is the respect on the road that you get in this. I recently have driven the Hyundai Inster, which is a brilliant car in its own right, a little bit cheaper than this. However, I said in my review that I think you get a little bit bullied around the roads, and I really do believe that in this it's completely different. In fact, you get people driving by and giving you a thumbs up, and it's not just Tesla owners, which it has been, but also I had someone in a Cupra, I had someone in a Golf GTI. People seem to know what it is and really respect it. So as a whole, the Renault 5, I think they've done a phenomenal job of incorporating the heritage and adapting it into new modern technology. Something that Ford didn't quite nail as well. I love the interior, I love the way it drives, and I love everything it's about. Yes, it's not going to get you up and down from Dublin to Cork every single day of the week. However, around town, it's phenomenal. And if I was allowed to go out and purchase a brand new electric car, and if I had a home charger, I would strongly consider one of these. That is it from this video. Thank you so much to the owner of this, Tim, for letting us have it. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you'd like to search for new Renaults for sale, you can hit the link up there. Thank you so much for watching.